All right, Sean, I think we are good to go if you are.
Yes, I am. Well,
All right.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started on the program today. We will have an opportunity to have questions and answers go throughout the presentation, but initially we'll go ahead and mute everyone's phone to prevent any potential background noise. So today we're talking about federal employees, a large and untapped market. And today we're joined by myself, Sean McCoy. I'm the National Business Development Director for Federal Employee Benefits Advocates. I'm also the owner. A little background on myself. I've been in the financial services industry. In May of this year will be 32 years. The last 10, 11 years I've spent exclusively working with federal employees and financial advisors. And so over that period of time, of the last decade or so, I've probably spoken to in excess of 20,000 federal employees. So I have a good handle on the way that the federal program works, as well as the insight as to how to approach the market from an advisor perspective. Also joining us today is Nick Woodward. He's our senior online strategist. Nick handles all of the programs that we do that involve all of the things related to our internet and our marketing organization. So we're glad that he's hosting us today. So I'm assuming you're here because you're looking for an opportunity, and that opportunity is a niche market, and in some cases a relatively untapped market. When you look at the statistics, according to the Office of Personnel Management, there's approximately 2.7 million federal employees in the United States, making it the single largest employer in the United States. Of that number, according to the Office of Personnel Management, beginning in 2018, approximately 1/3 of all federal employees will have an opportunity to retire. Now, that does not say that they necessarily will, but it presents that opportunity. So some statistics about why you should work with federal employees. The federal workforce is aging. 39% of the workforce is age 50 or older, compared to about 24% in the private sector. Average federal employees 47 years of age with 16.3 years of service. As I mentioned earlier, 1 out of 3 will be eligible to retire by 2013. The next area that I find is a lot of, a misnomer is the fact that people don't think federal employees are very competitively paid. Well, the fact that they are, because they must compete with the private sector for the talent that they have, and they are very well compensated, as well as have a great benefits package. The other question is, are there enough federal employees to go around in my particular area? Well, the answer is yes. 85% of all federal employees work outside the D.C. area. The top 10 would range from California, Texas, Virginia, Maryland, New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Illinois, and Ohio. So what are the areas of assistance that you can assist federal employees with? Well, this is another area where I found that a lot of people have only looked really kind of myopically at really one of the 2 areas. And so what we want to do is bring to light the 7 different areas potentially that you have to work with federal employees. Now, not every federal employee will be a candidate for each of these 7, but certainly depending on demographics and where they are and their age and health would also dictate where they would be eligible. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the pension. The federal employees, there's 2 retirement systems. There's the old system, the civil service retirement system, and the new system, which is the federal employee retirement system. So each of those 2 systems have a pension. And with that pension, they must make a survivor option. Well, one of the things that's a way to assist them is to do something called a pension income alternative, or sometimes referred to as pension maximization, where you help them choose the appropriate survivor benefit, and then in lieu of maybe potentially taking the full survivor benefit, they would take out a life insurance policy. So that represents a risk management opportunity there. And that may or may not work depending on their age and the difference in what the cost of the premiums are. There are some caveats in that they must maintain at least some type of survivor benefit in order to be eligible to receive the the health insurance after the death of the employee. The next area, and this is an area that I find that most financial advisors are not aware of, and certainly most of federal employees are not, is that FERS employees, those employees hired after 1984, if they die in service with less than 10 years of service and they're not age 62 with at least 5 years of service, there's no survivor benefit. And what that means is thus there is no pension coming in, and unless there's minor children in the household, they don't get to stay on the employee rate for the insurance. So that represents risk. So how do you handle risk? Well, in this case, it's risk transfer through the life insurance programs that are available out there. The next area comes in the area of their thrift savings plan. This is similar to a 401k plan. They have an opportunity to, at retirement, to leave the money there to take it out. They also have the ability to do age-based in-service withdrawals at age 59 and a half. Also, if they retire or separate after 55, they can take money out of the TSP without the 10% penalty. So there's a couple of areas where they need some assistance. First is suitability. The TSP is the largest pension plan in the world as of April of last year, with about $579 billion in it. Of that amount, 279 is essentially in their G fund, which is a money market, which means that they need to have more assistance in diversification of their portfolio. Plus, they need to be able to look what their distribution options are going to be and how they're going to access the money from the TSP. So that represents a asset gathering potential opportunity. The next comes in the area of what's called the voluntary contribution program. This is an archaic defined contribution plan that's only available to CSRS or CSRS offset employees, but essentially allows them to put away on an after-tax basis 10% of everything they've earned over their lifetime, and then through a change in the tax law in 2018 to use a rollover mechanism into a Roth, thereby avoiding the contribution limits that Roths can have, and with the income limits that may be a limitation because of their income. So it can be a great program for the right potential federal employee. Again, CSRS and CSRS offsets only. Now, to kind of wet your whistle a little bit, this gives you a little bit of information. This is a little dated about the TSP, but you can see that there's quite a number of sweet spots in here in terms of the TSP balances that do exist. So we're going to get on to our other areas of opportunity, and those come in the area of risk management. The next area would be their federal employee group life insurance. They have several different types of coverages, but the coverage that becomes the most expensive is their option B coverage. That is a salary multiple, where effectively when they get into their 50s and then make the change into their 55th and older, the premiums are essentially doubling. So you're talking about a tremendous cost that they would pay. Also, there is a possibility that over the period of the lifetime of the employee, that they could potentially pay out more in life insurance premiums than they would ever get with a death benefit. So this presents a life insurance opportunity. Another area of opportunity in the area of risk management deals with disability coverage. They do have a disability retirement, but they don't have a true disability insurance. And so when you look at the way the program works is after the first year, essentially, they get 40% of their high three offset by 60% of anything they would be eligible for from Social Security. Most people can't live on that. So that presents an opportunity for a standalone disability policy, or in some cases, a life insurance policy with various living benefit riders. The final area for risk management has to do with long-term care. Much like all the general population, federal employees are no different, but they do have a long-term care plan available through John Hancock. Unfortunately, John Hancock this past year has recently changed the program, and the premiums have gone up rather dramatically. So this may present, again, an opportunity for a standalone long-term care program, especially if you're talking about working with a couple, because this program does not appear to be as competitive to the outside private sector plans, or again, the opportunity to survive, to take care of multiple needs using a life insurance policy with the living benefit riders. So at this point, you're probably asking yourself questions, a couple of questions. And the two questions is, one, what's the best way to find out new prospects and turn them into clients? And number two, how can I get the professional knowledge that I'll need to work with feds? Well, that's where we come in. Federal Employee Benefits Advocates is an educational company. We just recently relocated from Parker, Colorado to Shreveport, Louisiana, and we're strictly an educational company. And that's one of the things that people ask us right off the bat. Well, how do you guys get paid? Well, first off, we don't have any of the licenses, so we're not interested in splitting your commission. And we really accomplish this through a training program. This is a 2-day hands-on program where we give you the knowledge, the tools, and support that you'll need to work with federal employees. And then for those individuals that would be interested, we also have our Federal Employee Benefits Advocates seminar programs that allow you to set up on-site seminars, off-site seminars, and be able to bring in federal employees for the purposes of offering those to them. And we'll talk about how that program works in just a moment. So first, we're going to focus in on our FedEd Advisor Training Program. The FedEd Advisor Training Program, as I mentioned, is a 2-day hands-on class. I'm often asked, is it possible if we could, essentially do a webinar or something like that? And it's really not practical. And the reason being is because I've tried to do this in the past. It just didn't work because there's a lot of content. Plus, I can't share with you the various experiences that I've had over the last decade of working with federal employees by doing it through a webinar. Plus, I try to bring in my years of service in the financial services industry and give you some sales ideas on what to focus in on and some marketing with the federal employees. So this begins with a study guide. This is an important part of this. What happens with the study guide is we generally get this to you about 2 weeks prior to the training. What this is designed to do is to get you up to speed so you'll be ready when you come into the classroom, much like if when you took your insurance or securities license, you might have taken a preparatory class before you went to the class. They oftentimes sent you some of the material to study so you'd be ready. And this is essentially in that same vein of thought of getting you ready for the materials that you'll receive when you come to the class. And when you come to the class, you'll get the classroom workbook. This classroom workbook is designed to help you to understand all the various concepts. It has copies of slides. Now, I'm often asked, do we get an actual copy of the slides from the program? No, you get a copy in the book. You don't get a soft copy. But not only do we go through various slides, but we also have exercises to give you hands-on drill for skill program so that you'll understand how the calculations actually work. And after the class is concluded, this becomes a valuable resource for you to go back and reference as you're working with federal employees. The secret sauce in our program is our marketing program on the second day. This is where we teach you through a proprietary program that we've created called Identify, Locate, Communicate, where we teach you how to identify various federal opportunities on a macro level in your geographic area. And then we allow you to and teach you how to take it down to a micro level where you can actually find individual federal employees. So the idea is to set up a strategy where you have the ability to prospect directly to federal employees for the purposes of having them come in and do a benefits analysis, which we will discuss that in just a minute on the software, or to prospect directly to federal agencies for the purposes of going on site to do federal employee benefit briefings. We'll also teach you how to become a federal contractor so that you can have the ability to go on and bid on contracts. And so you can thus earn income from that or use that to offset your expenses. And then the middle ground would be to prospect, to invite people to come to an offsite program, which oftentimes you have to do to kind of get the process started, because the thing about the federal market is, I tell people you have to have the 3 C's of commitment with the federal market. You have to be committed to be a scholar of the benefits, because federal plans are dramatically different than what you would see from an ERISA-based plan. The second thing is you have to have the C of the commitment to develop the market. This is not like a Social Security seminar where you can go out there and do an advertisement for every plate liquor in the city to come to sit down at a steak dinner. This is one that takes some time to develop. And what you find, depending on your geographic part of the country, that you may need to employ all of these different methods in order to be able to get into and break into the federal market. And then the other is the commitment of the financial resources, not just for attending the class or investing into the seminar materials, but also to be able to have a sustainable income as you make that transition in. It's much like if you were driving down the road in a car and you wanted to turn and go the other direction. If you're going down the road 100 miles an hour and you try to turn around, you're going to have a wreck. And so the idea is you want to be prepared that you have that financial capital to invest in the marketing, invest in the time that it takes in order to do that. So that's the marketing program. And again, we truly believe this is the secret sauce of our program. So in addition to that, we also have some other marketing materials. Some materials you will have available that will come as a part of the class, such as email templates and some flyers and things that come as a result of the class. We also have an online store that gives you the ability, if you want to purchase some of those marketing materials that range from pamphlets to publications to flyers to things that you can use for different marketing needs. We also have some prospecting pieces that come in the form of postcards. Just remember, we are not in the business of providing you the leads. What we are in the business is teaching you how to do the fishing yourself. So when it comes to the postcards, we can, if you provide us a list, we can do the mail merge into the list. If you want us with over 1,000, we can actually do the postage and everything involved. Or you can simply just, buy the postcards and put the postage on it and the addressing yourself. So we have several different ways, and this covers all the different ways to prospect individually, on-site and off-site. We also have what we consider one of the other pinnacles of our training program is software. We use a company out of Dallas, Oregon called Ready Retire, and they produce a specific type of software calculator called the gap analysis. This allows you to do an in-depth analysis of the federal employee benefits for all the various areas. And what it also does is it gives you a level of professionalism so that when you're doing an opportunity, whether it's someone coming into your office to do a benefits analysis, or if you're doing a seminar off-site, it provides an opportunity as an incentive for them to want to sit down with you afterwards. Now, what we do with the software is we found that it's better that we wait to train. So we train about 2 weeks after the class, and the software vendor handles all of that, and they're available for all the questions. This is included as a part of the class. We pay for it for the first year, and then after that, you pay for the renewal on the software. In addition to that, we have our digital resource guide. This is about 85 different forms that will help you in terms of working with federal employees. So the idea behind this is to help you minimize your learning curve, to provide you the resources and additional in-depth materials that you might need in terms of working with federal employees. So that comes as a part of the program. So afterwards, you have a chance to drill for skill. We have an online exam, and if you live in certain states, we do have state continuing education credits. If the class is taken within a certain period of time and it's proctored, then we can provide that to you. Also, if you happen to be a certified financial planner, we do have 12 hours of CFP credits that are available through this program. And again, this is done on an online proctored basis if you want to get the CE credits. So it's a comprehensive training program, gives you the pre-study the pre-study guide, the classroom workbook, the marketing workbook, the Ready Retire solutions, the digital resource guide, and the software. So this is a 2-day class. The cost of this is $16.95, and we'll talk in just a moment about the class that we have coming up in Maryland on the 4th and 5th. But before we do that, Nick, let's open up the lines and see if we have any questions about what we've covered thus far in the program.
Excellent. Anybody who has the ability, go ahead and shout it out. You can unmute yourself, or there is the chat function if you're in Zoom. So you can feel free to go ahead and chat us, and we'll get that question over to Sean. But with that, not hearing anything, Sean, I think we should just move forward. Yep. Did we lose you, Sean? Can't hear anything.
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, so these are the states that currently have the CE. There's one that's not listed on here, which is the state of Texas. It has 12 hours of CE. So the next program we're going to talk about is the FedEd Advisor Training Program. We've just finished that, so we're going to talk about the FEBA seminars. So these are programs that are designed to help you to build relationships with federal employees by providing them comprehensive benefit briefings. Now, these programs are set up in a package program. You have full-day, half-day briefings that are available, and then for each of the retirement systems. And then with this comes independent modules. So if you license the CSRS or the FERS, you also get the modules for each individual section. We also have a full-day and half-day financial literacy briefings, and our newest addition is divorce and its effect on federal employees. So this is, if you will, a niche within a niche. So the programs come with workbooks for the classes. These workbooks are required if you do license the material to be purchased from Federal Employee Benefits Advocates. They come with their comprehensive resource tools that you use in the course of doing these benefit briefings for the federal employees. They have copies of the slides that are done 2 up per page, and where appropriate, they're enlarged. These do not come in color. These do come in black and white, because to do it in color would be much too expensive to do that. But again, it's good reference material that allows the federal employees to understand exactly what they have, and to help, in some cases, understand some complex situations and calculations. One of the premier things that we offer in our program that no one else does is a benefits worksheet. This is a worksheet that's used in the course of a full-day program to give the federal employee a chance to look at their benefits on a holistic basis. And really what this does is it does three things. The first thing that it does is it gives them an opportunity to look at their benefits on a holistic basis, which in a lot of cases they never have. The second thing that they do is that they allow them to, go home and share this with their spouse or significant other. And the third thing that it does is it actually acts as a fact find, so that when they come into your office, you kind of already know what their angst points are, and it uses, that information to help, a starting point with the conversation. Another way you can increase your attendance at the seminars is a customized invitation. This invitation comes to you if you license the seminar materials. It's a form fillable PDF so that you can send that out to invite them. For those of you that may be securities registered investment advisor representatives, I can work with your compliance department in order to get this material approved. And if you choose to do so, we can do it prior to the start of the class so that you can be assured that there's going to be no issue with any client-facing material. In addition to that, we also make available, if you choose to do so, is a summary report. This is a report that you can use to calculate the evaluations that come in after the class. And this really does, again, a couple of things. The first thing it does is it solidifies the fact that you did what you said you were going to do and it was well received by the participants. The second thing that it does is it gives you an opportunity to go back in front of the point of contact in order to ask for additional opportunities to do additional seminars. And it also presents an opportunity perhaps for them to share this with other agencies for the purposes of providing referrals so that you can continue to grow your business. So this is another thing that is a unique tool that is available. And again, some people choose to use it, some people don't. So this is an example of the financial literacy material. This is really a generic financial literacy program. This can be used with pretty much anyone in the country. And it's designed to be used kind of as a second day to tie in different concepts that don't relate to federal employees, things such as risk management, different types of investments, those types of things. And so what I find in most cases, I do it usually a half a day, just because after the first day, it's usually they're just overwhelmed with the amount of material. But this is a good complementary program as well, or as I said, can be used for anyone in the country if you choose to do so. Our newest edition is divorce and its effect on federal employees. Divorce in federal employees can be extremely devastating, and the challenge is that most attorneys do not know how to handle a federal employee divorce, and some of the things that they can put into the stipulations can be devastating for the federal employee. And so what I've done is I took about a year to go through and do the research on this. I originally came out with this as something that I would do at conferences, but because of the demand, I'm offering it now, to advisors to use. I'm also starting to do these geographically around the country when I'm doing seminars for federal agencies as a way to promote it and, and to get traction in the area of divorce. But we do have a comprehensive program. It comes in a 2.5 and a 4-hour version. We also have marketing materials. Some of them are free. Some of them you can purchase along with announcements and invitations and things of that nature. So the Federal Employee Benefits Advocate Seminar Program includes communication materials, comprehensive training programs, the benefits book and worksheet, and the summary report. So that's an idea on our program. And so those are the two programs that we do offer to financial advisors, the FedEd Advisor Program and the Federal Employee Benefits Advocate Seminars. Now, from a pricing perspective, the cost, and these are our standard pricing models. We do have, which when you receive the follow-up on this, the recorded version, you will also get a link to our online store. But you'll see that we have some bundling programs going on. But essentially, if you independently license the CSRS program for full day, half day, and the modules, it's $2,500 for the first year, and then there's a $500 renewal. Now, this is a single license user, so if you or someone else in your office is going to benefit from it, regardless of whether they're at the seminar or they're going to split the commissions, then we do require a site license, and we can have a discussion about that later. The FERS program is $2,500. That is a program that, again, includes the full half day and then modularized for each of the sections. And then the financial literacy program also goes for $2,000 along with the divorce seminar is not listed on here, but it's at $2,500. Now, we do have some specials going on. If you do license the FERS, what we will do for the first year is we'll give you the CSRS program at no additional cost. but you would have a $500 renewal for each module after that. And so the other thing that we also make available is, if for some reason you decide you want to license the material and you don't want to do the initial presentation, you want us to come in and deliver it for you, we can be contracted to do that through a speaking agreement. We charge you $1,500 a day plus reasonable travel and expenses, including the cost of the books, and we require the speaking fee be paid 30 days in advance, and then we bill in arrears for the books and travel. We can also give you an estimate if you want to know what the cost on those are. The full day books are $10, and the half day books are $8, and the modules range from $2 to $3. Now, another alternative pricing program is that you don't want to learn the material. You don't want to do the public speaking. You just want to set up the seminar and have us come in and deliver it to you. If we do that, if it's a single day briefing, it's $2,000 a day. It's payable in advance, 30 days. We do ask you to pay the travel and books in arrears, just like we do under the other program. If you do multiple day seminars, and we can talk about that, we can give you some potential discounts if we come in for multiple days. But if you just do a single day, it's $2,000. So again, this is the comprehensive programs that we offer you, the knowledge, the tools, and support to work with federal employees. If you have additional questions, you can check out our website, FEBadvocates.com. You can also call us at 720-432-3331, or you can email your questions directly to me at Sean@FEBadvocates.com. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a program coming up in Baltimore. This is on February 4th and 5th. This is at the Crown Plaza Inner Harbor Hotel. They're in downtown Baltimore. The registration does close out here in the next week or so, so we do have a little bit of a timeline that we're working on. But as a follow-up to this program today, the webinar, we'll send you out a recorded copy of the webinar and a link to the registration site along with a link to the online store. So at this point, Nick, let's open it up and see if anyone has any questions about what we've covered so far this morning.
Excellent. Everybody is off mute, so I think, yeah, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and, oh, I will unmute there. Unmute. All right. Anybody has any questions, go ahead and shout them out. If not, we appreciate your time.
All right, well, if there's no questions, thank you all for participating today. And again, as I said, we'll send you a follow-up on this. There'll be a recording of the webinar. We'll also send you a link to our online store so you can look at the other programs that we have available. And we'll also send you the registration link and the information to the FedEd class coming up in Baltimore, Maryland. If this class does not happen to work out with you, we will have some other classes scheduled, and we hope to get those up and going here within the next couple of weeks, so you can at least get an idea where the locations will be geographically. So again, thanks everyone for joining. Nick, thank you for hosting today, and everybody have a great rest of the week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sean.